Yo, so we're going to do a short review of Judgment. That's right. Because I finally beat it, so we're going to update the backlog list and move on to the next game eventually. It's going to be fun. I'm really going to enjoy it doing this list, but yeah, I finally beat this son of a bitch. I bought this game was it day one when I bought this? I don't know if it was day one, but we're just going to do a really short review of this and hang out for a bit. It's not going to be the best stream or anything, but I wasn't going to go live or anything. I hope you could hear that. I think you can. I guess I should check the sound as always, just in case. Because I'm dumb and I screw these things up all the time. But no, so let me check this real quick. Hoping the sound quality is good. Heck yeah, it works. Answer my questions right there. So, like I was saying, I just beat this game. Okay, so first off, I bought this game day one. And so, I definitely pretty sure I came home and played it day one. I guess I should have looked at the trophy. I'm pretty sure you get a trophy early on, but I'm not too sure. But overall, it took me about 50 hours to beat the main story. Or about 50... Was it 52 or 53 hours? But, I'm still not all the way done with all the submissions. I think the completion level that I personally was at was about 24%. So I got about 65% more to go. And it's crazy. Actually, like 75. I mean, not 60. But yeah, so far, this was one of the last, of course, recent Ryuga Gotoku Studios games that was released. Which I'm really hyped, and I was really glad they finally did release it. Because it took so long, people were worried that we would not get it. And so, that was awesome. We definitely did get it. And now, if there's going to be a part 3, we don't know. Because there was kind of a cliffhanger. I'm going to try to make this as spoil-free as possible. But, that might be hard to do because there's a very story-narrative game. And so, yeah, that's probably going to be quite hard to do. But we're going to do our best. And so, yeah, if I have to compare it between the first and this one, it's hard because the gameplay is pretty much the same. The fighting mechanics, actually, this one's a little bit better because they added my favorite fighting mechanic of any Yakuza Judgment game or even any of them, and that was the snake battle system, or the snake battle, like the form, like. Yeah, so it's like very Wing Chun-y, like very slow. But no, I really love the evasion of the system, of the battle system. It was freaking awesome. I really did enjoy it, and I don't know. I do like Tiger. I did like Tiger before, and Crane was okay for the bigger groups, of course. But I preferred playing as the snake because it just felt more fluid. It was easy to evade, and I feel like it was a better combat system than Tiger or even Crane was, especially for bosses. Tiger, you couldn't evade, especially for some of the harder bosses. You really couldn't evade them as easily. However, Crane, you're basically gonna be very reversal and hit them as they come and hit you. So I really did like the snake variant of the battle system. So that being said, the battle system I think was a little bit better in this one than the other one. There's plenty of stuff just like the Yakuza games. Of course, they took karaoke out for this one. I feel like they should have added it, but I feel like with the rights and of course the main actor, which is probably why we're gonna not get part 3 of this game. Which is a real shame. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to duke things out and figure things out, but it's a real shame because this one you kind of had a leadway of a possible potential main villain for the next game. And so it's going to be like a direct continuation of this one to the next one. So if we don't get a part 3, it's just one of the main bad guys or antagonists is going to get away, which is very unfortunate. I guess it's very realistic in a way. So if there's no direct finish to the series overall, in a way it's very realistic because you can't always get the main bad guy or the guy that pulls the strings. You know, there's always going to be the head honcho that might always sometimes get away. So it's very unfortunate, but that's how things work. And you know, of course, the music in this one was freaking amazing as well, just like all the other ones. It was fantastic. The story, you know, top notch. I'm not sure if I love the first one more. I would say just a little bit, because I really did like the main antagonist in part 1, Judgment, over the antagonist in this one. Soma was cool, but he wasn't. I just feel like you knew who he was early on compared to the first one. I feel like the other one you really didn't see till much later. And you really, well, I mean, you saw him early on, but you had no idea that was going to be the main antagonist, and that's going to be the main villain. So that was cool. Looks like my camera's going to flicker on and off, which is fine. But and so I did enjoy that. I feel like this one was a little bit more predictable if you played this one. The first one I had no idea. I didn't figure it out. Could be because I was not as smart a couple years, 3 years ago. I don't know what it was, but this one was actually pretty predictable in some regards. You know, there were some parts I didn't get, but a lot of it I did understand, and it was good. Let me see. I did not like how they added, you know, you are a detective, but they added it a lot harder to find out where the submissions were, which was kind of a pain. And I still didn't get a lot of them done. I did get a few of them done, you know. And that's not including the school missions. The school missions are different than the sub-stories. And so basically you have to go around town and listen to like the chatter around town and figure out what's going on to get keywords, and you type that into chatter, which is pretty much a social media, and then you could find out where to go, which was cool. I did like that aspect, but I just feel like they should have probably just kept it like how the series has always done it, and kind of not really pinpointed, because a lot of the earlier ones you had to find out and run around anyways. But it was just easier, like you run into them and then they'll, like there would be like a cutscene or something. It's just a lot easier instead of like pulling out the devices, because you had to pull out like the sound device or the radar to figure out where things were, or you might have to get the dog and you have to walk around with the dog, which, I mean, it's very time consuming unless you're using a guide, which I don't want to use a guide. So unfortunately that was not my favorite aspect of the game. But I don't know, maybe they'll fix that on the third one if we ever get a third one. I'm not sure if they will, but let's see. Like I say, I really hope they get a third one, because of course Like a Dragon is going to be turn based, which is good. I really did like a Dragon a lot. I really did love that game. The only problem I had with Like a Dragon, sometimes the pacing of the story compared to the others were a little bit off and a little bit like not slow, because the story was amazing, but it was clunky in some areas, like the transitional storytelling. Unlike these, like Lost Judgment and Judgment, I mean, there might have been a couple parts in the narrative where it got kind of clunky, but not as much as Like a Dragon. And I can understand, because even though Like a Dragon was amazing gameplay wise and story and music, and Zhao made an appearance in this game, so if you really, and so that's connecting the canon of the stories, which is freaking cool. And of course you had the Leo Mong. Of course you didn't see anyone else that were in the like in the other games, of course. I think I'm trying to remember if there was anyone. I'm just trying to go off on the top of my head, because like I said, I bought this day one, so it took me like 4 or 5 months just periodically playing through this game. And so I think Zhao's the only one coming to mind that made an appearance, and you didn't get to see his face, he was just cooking, which was still freaking cool. It would have been cool to see like Adachi or someone else, or maybe even let's see, who else would have been. Maybe Ichiban would have been cool, because I mean, what, like, at this point we know Ichiban's going to be the next character, so what was he doing during this time, you know? Because I feel like if the Leo Mong was involved and then Gomi Jewel, he would have heard something about it. So I just feel like when you brought Inji Cho into it, they probably shouldn't have done that. And I understand they want to use that map more, but I feel like if you're going to bring Eiji into the story, after having just introduced it with, the Gomi Jewel and the all of that, and then of course Ichiban, Zhao, Adachi. I don't know if Adachi stayed in Eiji or if he went to, or where he went, but I mean, I think he was Kanagawa police, so he would have probably been connected to the other cop, even though Adachi, I'm not sure, maybe he just retired and whatnot, but so I guess I can understand not seeing Adachi, but a few of the others, I feel like I don't know, I feel like you're making the series very canon wise, right? But of course there's so much like restraint on it, because of course we might not even get a third one now, which is very unfortunate. And so there's a lot of restraints on this game and series, which, like I said, very unfortunate. So but overall, like I said, the story was amazing. The visuals. Now, I wanted to get a PS5 just for this game because I wasn't sure how this one was going to run. Because I played Yakuza 6 on the PS4. So, and there was like quite a bit of frame drops. Like in Judgment, I don't remember that there being that many frame drops in Judgment, like the original Judgment. But this one, I didn't notice as much as like Yakuza 6. And Yakuza 6 was a beautiful game as well, but I was kind of worried it wasn't going to play good, but I felt like it played just fine. It played smooth. I didn't have any like tremendous frame rate drops like there was even in Yakuza 6. And granted, I feel like Yakuza 6, of course, you had a lot more to do. You had karaoke, you had I feel like quite a few more mini games, because you had, of course, the arcades in Yakuza 6, and this one you had the arcade games, but you didn't have karaoke. And you had a few, you had less stuff about it, so I'm trying to think. Of course, the voice acting. I played an English dub, and I really did like. You have, is it Chris? It's not Chris Sabat, is it? Or Sabat? Let me look that one up because I don't want to be wrong about that. Let's see. Oh, it's Steve Bloom. See, I screwed up right there. It's Steve Bloom. You have Steve Bloom. You have a bunch of... The voice actor cast in this is amazing. At least from what I really do like the English dub to this. I really do. I think it's very playable. And it's really beautiful. So, I really do like it. I felt like it was easy to upgrade all the... It's not skill tree, but like the SP, and I feel like that was really easy to build up. And I had like 300,000. I didn't buy a lot at the end, but because I just pretty much updated Snake, and I was just like, well, this is my favorite fighting style, and that's pretty much all I'm gonna use. So, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much my review, because I just want to do a really short review of this, because I don't know. I'm really hoping I can't wait for the next Yakuza game. I'm definitely going to get the Fist of the North Star game soon. Of course, I do want to hit my other backlog games, of course, and whatnot. So, I know this was kind of disorganized, but that's the way I'm going to do reviews now, and that's fine, because I prefer just talking, and when people jump in, we could talk about it. But I just like doing this a lot better, so... that's pretty much all I have. I didn't want to spend too long on this because I just wanted it to be a really short video. And yeah, Lost Judgment, of course, developed by Ryuga Gotoku and developed by Ryuga Gotoku and published by Sega, of course. So, they're becoming easily one of my favorite gaming developers. Of course, you go back to the PS3 and you have Binary Domain right here, and this was a freaking fantastic game as well. So definitely recommend you check this game out, no doubt about that. But yeah, that's Lost Judgment. I spent like 52 hours into it, and like I said, I only put I'm not even halfway done with the school missions that you do. And speaking about the school missions, I actually almost forgot about that. I'm glad I remembered it at the very end. But the school missions, him going to the school, is very like a video game GTO. Now, I've talked about this before, but GTO is one of my favorite J dramas. There's also anime. I've never seen the anime, but I saw the 2011 or 2012 GTO live action. One of my favorite J dramas, or even I would go to say one of my favorite TV shows. Period. Like live action and where there's live people acting and stuff. It's just a phenomenal. Made me cry. I'm not even exaggerating. Made me emotional. And that's not, I mean, I'd say it's easy, but it's not like tremendously easy. It's like normal mode. So, yeah, I definitely did like that school aspect. I didn't finish it. I mean, maybe I'll go back and do it eventually, and because I definitely do it, or I'll watch gameplay of it. Because there's a few that I really didn't like, and there's two other ones that I don't even know what their clubs are. So, and the girls bar one was okay. I didn't like the robot one. I didn't like the robotics club. I didn't like that one. But so that one's gonna be tough to push through. And of course the drone races. You have the drone races you could do, which is fun. I feel like it wasn't as pushed as it was in the first. Like the first one, I felt like it was pushed a lot more. Like this one, it was in Ijincho, and you had to go all the way to like the far back by the baseball place, and it was just kind of out of the way. So I never really did it, but you know, you could do it, and it's probably a sub story as well. So, but you know, I definitely easily probably could spend 80 hours into this game. You know, so that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. That I just wanted a short review of this game, Lost Judgment. I didn't want to spend too much time on it. Lost Judgment. Definitely recommend you check out the first one, and of course the other Yakuza games. You could definitely work. I mean, honestly, if you just want to play the Judgment games, you could definitely play those two and have no really effect on like the story. You know, of course there's some references here and there, which is nice, but if you really, of course, want to go back to the Yakuza series, definitely start with like 0, 1, or Kiwami 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then Like a Dragon, and then, or actually, how the real chronological order you'll play these games is you'll play Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, Yakuza 2, Yakuza 3, Yakuza 4, Yakuza 5, Yakuza 5, and then you would play Yakuza 6, then then just regular Judgment, then you would play, what was it? You Like a Dragon, and then you would play this one. And then of course you could play the PSP ones, which you probably have to emulate because of translations and stuff. We never got that, so yeah, I definitely recommend you check this game out, no doubt about that. I'll see you next time. Daigyo Kusatsu out. Sayonara.